A jury heard the evidence. They deliberated for 4 hours. They convicted him. Every single piece of evidence used to put him away was a lie. And the people who knew it said nothing. Marcus Webb was 31, a high school basketball coach in a mid-sized American city. He ran practice each afternoon for 17 young men who had nowhere else to go. They called him Coach Webb. Some called him the only man who never gave up on them. At home, he had a daughter, Simone, 4 years old, who waited for bedtime stories and the warmth of his voice. He coached. He came home. He read stories. That was his life. It was a good life. Then, on a Tuesday morning in April, 2 detectives knocked on his door. He was arrested for a murder he did not commit. He had an alibi, 3 witnesses who placed him at a school fundraiser, 40 minutes away at the time of the killing. Their statements were taken, filed, and then, remarkably, never presented to the jury. Instead, the state relied almost entirely on forensic evidence. The voice the courtroom trusted belonged to Dr. Gerald Holt, a state-employed fiber analyst with 22 years of experience and a record of testifying in over 300 cases. He spoke in a measured tone, an authority that bent the room to its will. He told the jury the fibers found at the crime scene were a definitive match to the carpet in Marcus Webb's vehicle. He said the word definitive 3 times. The jury convicted him of first-degree murder. Life without parole followed. Simone turned 5 during the trial. She learned to make sense of absence in a house that still smelled faintly of her father's cologne. She learned to drive without him. She graduated high school with a seat at the ceremony empty. She turned 18 with no father at the table. What the jury never heard was a memo. 3 weeks before trial, a junior analyst named Sandra Kowalski performed a routine quality check of Dr. Holt's work. She flagged it immediately. The sample size was too small. The methodology did not follow established protocol. Her written recommendation was clear. Do not present these findings as a match. She submitted the memo to her supervisor. The memo was forwarded to Dr. Holt. He overruled her recommendation in writing. The prosecutor received a copy on a Monday morning. The trial began on Wednesday. He said nothing. Marcus filed his first appeal 14 months after conviction. It was denied. 10 more appeals over a decade were denied. Year 3, family visits dwindled. The drive and the ritual of visiting through glass were too much. His mother persisted until her health failed in year 7. She died in year 9. Marcus did not attend her funeral. For 14 winters, he watched the world move through a barred window in a facility 300 miles from the city where Simone was growing up without him. In 2019, the Innocence Project agreed to review his case. Independent forensic scientists re-examined the original fiber samples with technology unavailable at the time of trial. The process took 8 months. Their conclusion was unambiguous. The fibers were not a match. They had never been a match. The original analysis contained errors so fundamental that they could not be dismissed as inadvertent. Sandra Kowalski's memo had been right. Dr. Holt had retired in 2017 with a full pension, a commendation from the Attorney General, and a framed certificate of distinguished service. When investigators presented the new findings, he said he stood by his testimony. He was never charged with perjury. He faced no professional discipline. He kept his pension. The prosecutor who received Kowalski's memo was, by 2019, a sitting judge in the same court system. He was asked to recuse himself from post-conviction proceedings. He declined, asserting no conflict of interest. He retired in 2022 with full benefits and no criminal charges. Marcus walked out of prison on a Thursday morning in November 2019, at 45 years old. He entered custody at 31. There was no ceremony, no apology. An Innocence Project paralegal drove him to a motel. They stopped at a diner. He ordered scrambled eggs and declared them the best meal of his life. Simone, 22, waited in the motel room. He had not held her since she was 4. She said, "I never stopped believing you." He did not say anything. He did not need to. 3 months after his release, Marcus filed a civil suit against the state, against Dr. Holt, and against the prosecutor personally. The case settled out of court 26 months later. The settlement terms were sealed by order. Marcus could not disclose the amount. He said publicly that no sum could restore what was taken. He said he wanted people to know what happened. That, he said, was the only justice that felt like justice. Sandra had kept a copy of her memo for 14 years. She thought of Marcus every day since the trial. She said she had been afraid to come forward sooner. She apologized in interviews, each time with the weight of someone who understood that sorry could never be enough. This is not the story of an error. It is a story of choices. How evidence is presented, what is withheld, who is believed, and who pays. Marcus Webb lost 14 years of life to a system that failed to pause, to test its certainty against doubt, to hear the voice that had warned of error. The system did not make a mistake. The system made a choice. And Marcus Webb paid for that choice with 14 years of his life and everything that happened inside them. Subscribe to Case Files TV. Every week, the cases the headlines covered and the questions they were never brave enough to ask.